Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're safe and well. In this video we're going to try and create the simplest set of aim points we can to help new HFT shooters score a few more kills. Let's roll the titles. So what's this all about then? Well, the other weekend I was helping out setting an HFT course and going around spraying up the targets ready for the next comp. You can't fail but notice that there's a lot of wayward pellets on the plates of the targets. So obviously some people need a bit of help to get those kills rather than just consistently scoring plates. I've also shot with a few beginner, inexperienced guys on HFT comps and some newbies, and it's a lot to get your head around to begin with. So I thought, wouldn't it be good if rather than having to preach, range cards and working out all your pellet drops at different ranges. I mean, a lot of people, the only time they shoot is when they turn up for a comp. They don't have access to a range, or they can't go during the week to shoot on a range to work out their pellet drops and be precise with their aim points. So wouldn't it be handy if they had a simple collection of graphic aim points that would help them hopefully score a few more kills than they are at the moment? I mean, everybody loves to score a kill, don't they? It's that great feeling whenever the plate goes over, when the target flops over and you get to pull it back up again with the cord. So without further ado, let's go and make a start, shall we? For this exercise I'll be using my Air Arms S400 rifle, which is a .177 caliber rifle shooting sub 12 foot-pounds, and I'll be using 8.44 grain pellets. And now what I'm planning to do is to come up with a solution to knock over the minimum size target at each of the ranges that fall within the current UK HFT rules. So from the graphic here you'll see that that's a 20mm target from 8 to 13 yards, 15mm target from 13 to 25 yards, 20mm from 25 to 30, 25mm from 30 to 40, and finally 35mm from 40 to 45. The reason being, if we can knock over the smallest target, then a target that's larger in diameter than those at the same range is going to be less of a challenge. The rifle's zeroed at 25 yards. We will be for the final test we'll be using a 25-yard focus or parallax. If you want to know why I've chosen 25 yards, check out an earlier video that I did on trajectory and ballistics and you'll see the reasoning behind that. Also, it's worth noting when we go through this that starting at 8 yards the pellet drop decreases as we move towards our zero range, and as we move away from our zero range the pellet drop increases again. So we need to take that into account when we determine the optimum aim point. So there we have it. Let's move on and let's start the process. This is the range card that I'll be using then. I shot this earlier just to check its validity. I didn't film that because I'd already done shooting range cards in an earlier video. You'll find that on my channel if you want to check that out. And what I've done is I've calculated the relative distance on my reticle with the pellet drop of the different ranges. I'm using a true mil dot reticle that is a true mil dot measurement at 10 times magnification. Our first target then is going to be a 20mm diameter kill at 8 yards. You can see here from the range card at 8 yards I'm getting a 16mm pellet drop, which is 2.2 mils, and you'll notice when I line up the 20 mil kill with the way that the reticle looks at that range, the pellet should fit nicely inside the bottom of the keel if we align our crosshairs with the top edge of the keel. So looks good in theory. Does it work in practice? Let's see if let's try and shoot it and see what happens. So we know we can down a 20mm keel at 8 yards if we align our crosshairs with the top of the kill zone. But once we get to 13 yards, the keel can be reduced to 15 mil. So does it still work at 13 yards with a 15 mil keel? Well, looking here, 15 yards, we'll get a 3mm drop, which is 0.2 mils, and looking at how the sight picture looks, we can see that we should also fit that nicely within the keel at that distance. But that's the theory. Again, let's check it out in practice and take the shots and see what happens. So that aim point's still valid, but remember what I said earlier, the nearer we get to our zero range at 25 yards, the less the pellet drop will be, and you can see here it is reducing as we go towards 25 yards zero range. So at what point is the previous aim point still valid? Well, what we'll do is we'll check at 15 yards and we'll place our crosshairs in the center of the keel, and you can see here that we should still be able to sneak our pellet in the bottom of the keel to knock it over if we are using our crosshairs in the center of the keel. So let's not take that as a given. Let's just go and shoot that just to prove that that actually works. So we know that works then, and because we're moving towards our zero range, we can carry on using that aim point, because we know that the pellet drop from 17 to 26 yards is insignificant. So we have our second aim point then, which is crosshairs in the center of the keel. What happens as we move out further? Let's move out beyond our zero range then, and we'll move up to 30 yards. 30 yards is maximum range for a 20mm keel. So is our previous aiming point still valid for a 20mm keel at 30 yards? Now, looking at this, our pellet drop is 7mm, which is 0.3 mils, and looking at the diagram here, you can see that it's quite low in the keel. So let's test that and see whether it actually fits, or whether we need to rethink our aiming point at this range. Well, as you can see, it did fit, but it's a bit sort of do or die. It's getting a bit close at that range, so I think it's probably more sensible to look at an alternative. And we can go back to our original aim point where we put our crosshairs at the top of the keel. So you can see with the 0.3 mil drop, we're going to hit roughly in the center of the keel. So that might be a safer aim point for us to use at this range for this size of keel. Now, when I shot this, I forgot to switch the video recorder on, so I only got a photograph of where these pellets come through. So I'll show you that now. And as you can see, apart from the one pellet that drifted off to the right in the wind, the elevation was the same for all of those three shots, and they quite neatly fit inside that 20mm keel at 30 yards. So we're reverting back to our first aim point then of crosshairs at the top of the keel. Now once we get beyond 30 yards, the minimum keel size then becomes 25mm. So we look at our previous solution for a 25mm keel at 30 yards, and that also looks, I mean the pellet drop is still the same, that also looks as if that would neatly fit inside. So let's give that a shot just to confirm that, just to satisfy ourselves that that actually does work. Moving out towards 35 yards then, the pellet drop is starting to increase again. We've got a 0.6 mil drop, so you can see that by using our aim point with the crosshairs on the top edge of the keel, the pellet drop's starting to approach the bottom edge of the keel. So we need to check then whether this is still a valid shot or not. So we'll give that a go, see whether we can actually make that shot using that aim point. So once we move beyond 35 yards then, we know that the pellet drop's going to continue increasing, and our previous aim point is just not going to work, because the pellet is either going to clip the bottom edge of the keel or just hit the plate at the bottom edge of the keel. So we need a new aim point. So bringing the reticle up, holding over so that we fit both of our half mil dot and our 1 mil dot marks aim points within the keel, means that we should be able to fit the pellet at this range just inside the top of the keel. So let's give that a shot and see if that works then. So we've got our third aim point then. what we need to know now is, obviously looking at the table, you see that the pellet drop is going to be rapidly increasing. So how much further can we go range wise before we need to think about changing our aim point? So moving out to 40 yards then, which is the maximum distance for a 25mm kill. You can see here that the range card is saying 38mm drop, which is 1mm dot. You can see we're in a situation here where, again, the shot's going to be low in the kill with a possibility of clipping the edge or missing low. So let's give that one a try and see how that works in the real world. So we know that still works then. Let's move on. Okay, so we get to 40 yards where the smallest kill then is the 35mm kill. And you can see here that the obvious solution here is to put, because the aim point is 1mm, the obvious solution would be to put 1mm straight in the centre of the kill. But we've got one more shot to make after this, which is the 45-yard kill. Wouldn't it be handy if we could find a solution that will incorporate both our 40-yard shot and our 45-yard shot, so that anything between those ranges, any targets between those ranges will fall over with the same aim point. So if we move the reticle up a little bit more, so we fit this time the 1mm dot and the 1.5mm dot neatly inside the kill zone, you can see here our 40-yard aim point is the 1mm dot, and from the table our 45 is the 1.5mm dot. So we've got both ranges in the same aim point. So let's check that out and see whether that will work at 45 yards. And that seems to work quite nicely then. So we've ended up with 4 different aim points, or aim pictures if you like, for all the ranges that we've gone through. And this is the chart here. So you can see from 8 to 15 yards we had crosshairs on the top edge of the kill. From 15 to 30 yards we had crosshairs in the centre of the kill. From 30 to 35 yards we went back to the original picture, crosshairs on top of the kill. From 35 yards to 40 yards we went with 1/2 and 1mm dot inside the kill, and then 40 to 45 we went from 1 to 1/2. Now, an important thing to realise when you look at this is that using these aim points, we've managed to incorporate a number of different ranges within that aim point. So anything that's plus or minus a couple of yards either side of the prime range is likely to be hit successfully using these aim points. Another thing to bear in mind as well is that I know from the time that I've spent course setting, it's very unusual to find that a certain size keel is exactly at the minimum or the maximum range for that size of keel, for the simple reason being that course setters don't want their pegs challenged and the pegs to be pulled because the wrong size target's been set at the wrong range. So the tendency is for example that, you know, a 35mm won't go out to exactly 45 yards. It's probably going to be nearer 44, so that it's well within. An 8-yard target is not going to be exactly 8 yards. It's more likely to be a little over, and you can work that through all of them. So on the basis that we've worked out these aim points on the strict limits of the ranges, you'll find that there's actually a few millimeters to spare either way, and there's actually going to be more clearance than I've shown here for most of these ranges, or for these ranges using these sight pictures. So that's the theory done then. So what we need to do now is to actually check each of these sight pictures on real targets to make sure that they work. So that's what we're going to do now. Okay then, here we are out shooting the garden. All the theory's done. Need to put theory into practice. Got my sheet here of my set of aim points, and what we're going to do is I will shoot the 20mm target at 8 yards first, because I've only got one 20mm target and I need to move that then out to 30 yards. So we'll do that first. I'm not cheating. I've set my parallax to 25 yards, zeroed at 25 yards, so we won't be adjusting the scope focus to make it a little bit more like it was a comp. So, here we go then. Well, that's the first one down. Right, I should have said that I shot that 8-yard target with the crosshairs on the top edge of the keel, as per the first aim point picture. I've set a video camera up down range, but because obviously it's spanning 15 yards right up to 45 yards, might not pick up all of the targets. We'll have to see. So the next target then is 15mm target at 15 yards, and that sight picture is crosshairs in the centre. So we'll give that a go, see if we can knock that one over. That's one. Right. The next target is a 20mm 30 yards, and that's going to be crosshairs at the top of the target. Just off to the right edge. Try that again. Just need to aim off a bit for that wind, I think. Give it a little bit of left the wind blowing off to the right a bit. So the next target is 25mm at 35 yards. So we're going to be putting the 1mm dot in the bottom, inside bottom of the target. That went down. And last but not least, 45 yards, 1mm dot in the top edge of the target. That's down as well. So hopefully that's proof that they all work. So there we are then, come up with 4 graphic images of aim points, you know, the picture you'd see through your scope to help you knock that target over at specific ranges. As we mentioned, everything that I did during this video was based on the real mil dot reticle, which for the scope I was using was at 10 times magnification. So if you're using a magnification less than that, then you need to make adjustments. You may find with the pellets you're using and the power of your rifle that the pellet drops might be slightly different, so you may need to sort of test them out a bit. But for the most part, there's a pretty good tolerance, and as you've seen as we've gone through it, quite a few different range aim points fit within those pictures. So if you weren't using anything before and you give this a go, then I think that there's a good chance that you'll score a bit better than you have been. So hope you found that interesting. Any comments, please, you know, anybody's got any comments or questions about that, then please leave them in the comments to the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're racing towards 1,000 subscribers. It would be great to try and hit that before the end of the month if you can help me out. Doesn't cost anything. But that's all I've got for you for now, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.